Hello, welcome to Master Bowie Kitchen. My name is Riesa and this is Bowie. Today I'm going to talk about carbohydrates in dogs' food. I will dive into the debate on whether our dogs need carbohydrates in their diet, and if so, how much is ideal. I will also show you how I make meal for Bowie, following BARF model ratio and using healthy carbohydrate sources. There are two main arguments regarding carbohydrates. One argues for minimal or no carbohydrates in the dog's diet. It's because our dog's wolves' ancestors were carnivores and they primarily consumed prey diets. The only carbohydrates they had were the occasional roughage such as grasses and wild fruits or vegetables, and the pre-digested plant matter containing in the GI tracts of their prey animals. And the other perspective suggests that dogs are omnivores through the process of domestication. Dogs began associating with humans to scavenge for food as a result of farming. And over time, they developed the ability to digest starches. So studies found that compared to wolves, dogs have more amylase alpha-2b gene copies which are responsible for starch digestion. However, the numbers vary widely within the dog population, meaning some dogs can digest starches better than others and vice versa. Then there is a middle ground perspective which acknowledges the benefits of complex carbohydrates like fiber, fruits, and vegetables for dogs due to their antioxidant and phytonutrient components. What is the role of carbohydrate for dogs? Carbohydrates are one of the macronutrients that dogs need in large amounts to be supplied in their diet daily, along with water, protein, and fat. Carbohydrates primarily provide energy in the form of glucose. Dogs do have requirements for glucose, and when carbohydrates are lacking in their diet, the liver will convert non-carbohydrate carbon substrates such as from proteins and fats into glucose in the process called gluconeogenesis. There are two types of carbohydrates, simple and complex. Simple carbohydrates include fructose, normally from fruits, glucose, and lactose. They are simple sugars and they provide quick energy. Complex carbohydrates take longer to break down, providing sustained energy. Examples of complex carbohydrates are starches, resistant starches, and fibers. Starches, when thoroughly cooked, can be broken down by digestive enzymes into sugars or glucose for energy. On the other hand, resistant starches and fibers resist enzymatic digestion in the small intestine, and they are fermented by the bacteria in the colon. These type of carbohydrates are beneficial for our dog's gut health. How much carbohydrates do dogs need? AFCO and VDF guidelines, commonly used in pet food nutrition, don't specify required carbohydrate amounts for dogs. This is why you often don't find carbohydrate content on dog food labels. To calculate the carbohydrate content, you can add the protein, fat, fiber, moisture, and ash content and subtract from 100%. So most kibble contains between 30 to 40% carbohydrates on a dry matter basis. Kibble manufacturers use carbohydrates mostly from grains, legumes, or potatoes, mainly due to costs for protein complementation and to assist with the extrusion process. So, are carbohydrates good or bad for dogs? It's relative depending on the amount and whether they are highly processed or refined. Potatoes or brown rice, for example. They are rich in different vitamins and minerals. And as fresh food ingredients, they can provide health benefits for our dogs. But when over half of your dog's daily diet consists of highly processed, starch-rich ingredients, then that can be a problem, especially when there are no other variety of fresh fruit ingredients in your dog's diet. We know that dogs can digest starches with varying capabilities. However, studies suggest that excessive consumption of starches and sugars can have adverse health effects. including gut microbiota imbalance, increased risk of diabetes and heart disease, inflammation, yeast, allergies, and even obesity. On the other hand, our dogs benefit from complex carbohydrates like resistant starches, fibers, and antioxidants and phytonutrients from fruits and vegetables. So how much carbohydrates should your dog have? Let's dive into making Bowie's meal to find out. For Bowie's DIY meal, I follow a BARF model ratio with a slight modification in the plant matter amount. BARF, or biologically appropriate raw food diet, is the most common and popular fresh food diet model for dogs. BARF feeding ratios are slightly different to prey model raw or PMR diet to allow for more plant matter such as fruits and vegetables in the diet. I also use animal diet formulator software to help me formulate Bowie's meals. I'm not going to go into detailed measurements for each ingredient, but what I'm going to show you is the ratio for each main ingredient to give you an idea on how much carbohydrates in Bowie's fresh food diet. The recommended guidelines for a BARF diet consist of 70% muscle meat, 10% of raw edible bone, and here I have lightly cooked chicken mince, raw chicken necks, and fresh whole sardine for omega-3. Next, you need 5% liver, 5% of other secreting organ, and here I have a mix of goat liver, lung, and heart. Next, you need 10% of plant matter, which includes vegetable, fruits, and seeds or nuts. Here I have cooked and mashed sweet potato, finely chopped steamed celery, zucchini, and green leafy vegetables, strawberry and blueberries, hemp seeds, and ground pumpkin and sunflower seeds. I often increase the plant matter amount. If your dog can tolerate fiber, you can increase the plant matter to up to 25% and reduce the muscle meat accordingly. I recommend that you pair below the ground or root vegetable with above the ground or green leafy vegetables. Small quantities of additional fresh food ingredients such as eggs, yogurt, bone broth, herbs, and kelp can also be added to your dog's BARF diet. Here I have parsley, wheatgrass powder for zinc, manganese, and vitamin E source, and kelp powder for iodine. This fresh food ratio applies balance over time and feeding a variety of whole foods on rotation to prevent any excesses or deficiency in specific nutrients. You can certainly use this ratio when you have a healthy adult dog who doesn't need a formulated, complete, and balanced meal daily. Keep in mind though that you still need to provide all the necessary nutrients for your dogs to balance over time. You can also learn how to make your own dog food and try more recipes in our ebook called Bowie Rules Over the Alphabet. Click the link below to get your copy. Hope you learned a bit more about dog nutrition and how to better your dog's diet. Don't forget to like, share it with your fellow dog parents, and subscribe to our channel for more healthy dog recipes. We'll see you next time. Take care and bye!